Hi everyone, it's Grant Ellis, aka pfcamygrant from Outpost Zero. It's been a very long work week with a whole lot of traveling, but I'm very excited because I got an email from Cool Stuff Inc. today, which has been pretty quick at sending me my adventure packs, and the Treachery of Rhudaur came today. A box came, and I'm pretty sure that's what's inside. I hope it's not empty. But let's go ahead and crack this open and see what the new adventure pack is all about. Alright, here we have it, the fourth adventure pack of the Angmar Awakened cycle, the Treachery of Rhudaur. I think that's how it would be pronounced. I'm taking a guess. I'm not very good at speaking in the Tolkien tongue. It looks like we've got some skeletons. We've got one hanging skeleton. Dark times lie ahead, quote Harry Potter. And on the back, looks like we have some sort of skeleton warrior, and it reads that the Treachery of Rhudaur is an adventure pack of 66 cards, as it reads with most adventure packs. It doesn't look like there's any flavor text on the back. Notice the copyright is 2014, although this card came out just this week. So let's jump in to the adventure pack and see what the player cards are. And we'll begin by examining the rules. Alright, so it looks like the rule set starts with extensive story expansion. I will not spoil for those that have not played the cycle. It's going to keep exploring the Valor keyword, and there is an investigation mechanic, which looks like solving a murder mystery, maybe, like in the upcoming Fellowship event night. And it looks like there is a story continuation for when you complete the quest. I'm not going to read that because I don't want it to be spoiled. And it also tells us a little bit more about the objective ally. So it doesn't look like there's too much new. It looks like there'll be an investigation mechanic. Let's get into the player cards, see what they bring to us. Alright, jumping into the player cards, we start with the hero card for this adventure pack. He has a threat cost of 10. He has 2 willpower, attack, and defense, and 4 hit points. It's Eristor, who you may recall from being an ally in an earlier cycle. But this is the hero version of this character. He has the Noldor trait, and the following: draw 3 additional cards at the beginning of the resource phase. At the end of the round, discard all cards in your hand. So it looks like you will start and draw 4 cards into your hand at the start of the resource phase. You may play any of those cards, and then at the end of the round, you will discard your entire hand. It's very unique. The ally had additional card draw and discard abilities. I'm curious to see how this changes the meta of the game. He's a lore hero. 10 starting threat is a little high, given his stats. Mathematically it works because he has 2 in all of his stats and 4 hits. Very interesting character. Very interesting character. He's different. Moving on to the next player card. It is a 3-cost leadership event, Reinforcements. You must use resources from 3 different heroes' pools to pay for this card. It's the action. The players as a group can put up to 2 allies into play from their hands. Each of these allies may enter play under any player's control. At the end of the phase, return each of those allies that are still in play to their owner's hands. So for 3 costs, you may drop 2 allies from any of the players. They can be put under any player's control. And then at the end of the phase, the allies go back into their owner's hands. So for 3 costs, you can actually have some beefy allies come in. You could have Gandalf and Beorn. You could have Gildor Inglorian and Haldir of Lorien. You could have Landrovol come into play. There's a lot of powerful allies that you could come in, and sometimes utility allies are allies that would be very useful in that given circumstance. 3-cost leadership event. The next event is a side quest, a 1-cost leadership side quest with 6 quest points on it. The flavor text reads, often the Rohirrim have aided us, but now the Lord Denethor asks for all your strength and all your speed. Hirgon, the return of the king. Limit 1 per deck. When this stage is defeated, each player may search the top 10 cards of his deck for an ally and put it into play under his control. Each player who did shuffles his deck. Our next card is a 0-cost tactics attachment, Elven Spear. It's nice to see some weapons being given to the Noldor and Sylvan. We saw that in earlier cycles with the Rivendell Blade and the Rivendell Bow. This one reads that it attaches to a Noldor or Sylvan hero, so it's limited to heroes, and it's restricted. Most characters, as far as I can tell, can only have a limit of 2 restricted items. If you play a third, you have to choose one and discard it. The action is discard a card from your hand to give attached hero +1 attack until the end of the phase. Limit 3 times per phase, so you can discard cards to add to your attack. That actually combos well with Aristor's ability of drawing 3 additional cards at the start. You can actually use those cards as fuel to buff and Hulk up during the attack phase if a hero carries the Elven Spear. And it combos well with Aristor, as I mentioned. And it also will work well with any of your Noldor or Sylvan heroes who are strong attackers. You might be using Eladon, one of Elrond's sons. You might be using Spirit Glorfindel, or Lord Glorfindel if that's the way you go. You could even be using the new Aristor hero, but Haldur of Lorien is another good hero who this could attach to. Interesting card, and it's a good way to Hulk with one of your elven heroes. Our next card is a 2-cost tactics event, Horned Cry. The action, all enemies get -1 attack until the end of the phase. The Valor action, this would an action you'd be able to do if your threat was above 40 or at 40. Choose a player. Each enemy engaged with that player gets -3 attack until the end of the phase. I really like the artwork too. Our next card is a 1-cost Spirit Ally, the Galadrim Weaver. She has 1 willpower, no attack, no defense. She has the keyword Sylvan and Craftsman, or rather those are her traits. She cannot attack or defend. The response, after Galadrim Weaver enters play, shuffle the top card of your discard pile into your deck. So this one combos with Aristor by getting cards from the discard pile back into your deck. And it only occurs as a response when she enters play, but for 1 cost to be able to return a card from the discard pile back into your deck, that's not too bad, particularly since she can absorb a point of damage, and she can also quest for 1, and since she's Sylvan, she would also combo well with heroes such as Celeborn, who buff Sylvans on the round that they enter play. She can attack or defend, but if you can get her willpower up to 2 for 1 cost, that's nothing to cry about. Not to mention, if you have Galadriel, she won't exhaust on the round that she comes into play. So, limited, but combos well with the new meta being introduced by Aristor the hero. The next card is a 2-cost Spirit Attachment, Silver Harp. I paused for a second as I looked and I saw that this attaches to a Spirit hero and is restricted. After a card is discarded from your hand, exhaust Silver Harp to return that card to your hand. And the flavor text is interesting. Elrond wore a mantle of gray and had a star upon his forehead, and a silver harp was in his hand. That's Elrond's harp. But it attaches to a spirit hero, or a hero with the spirit icon. There's different ways heroes can get those icons if they don't have them already. This one seems to be, again, a card that would go well in a deck that has Aristor as a hero. The next card is a 4-cost lore ally, Galdor of the Havens. He has 2 willpower, 2 attack, 1 defense, and 4 hits. He has the Noldor trait. I like the reference of the Havens, as you may have heard that the Grey Havens is the next deluxe expansion coming out, and the Dream Chaser cycle will be the cycle for next year. And let's read a little more about this particular ally. The response is after 1 or more cards are discarded from your hand, draw 1 card. Limit once per round. So the interesting thing there is he acts as a form of card draw, and if cards are discarded from your hand, you may draw 1 card. You can only do it once, but it's an interesting way after you're thinning out your deck to get more cards into your hand. If you have useful cards hidden in your deck, he might be useful for getting them into your hand. He has a lot of hits and a cost of 4, so he's expensive, but there's a number of ways to cheat expensive allies into the game, be it through Elrond's Ring or the Elfstone attachment that attaches to locations. And it's an interesting ally to be introduced into the card pool. The following card, or rather the card that I hold now, is a 1-cost lore event. The door is closed, with the flavor text, I perceive the Dark Lord and know his mind, or all of his mind that concerns the elves, and he gropes ever to see me in my thought. But still, the door is closed. Galadriel, from the Fellowship of the Ring. And it has a response, after an encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its effects and discard it if there is a card with the same title in the victory display. So there's other cards that allow you to move cards from the encounter deck into the victory display. We had seen them in the last unboxing video as well as the one prior, so in Escape from Mount Graham and Across the Etten Moors, watch my unboxing videos for those adventure packs and you'll be introduced to cards that move cards from the encounter deck into the victory display. This card combos well with the hero Raziel, as it again plays off the idea of having cards in the victory display. And it seems like a very thematic card to have included in the deck, particularly as it shows more elvish power that Galadriel has mentioned in some of the other flavor texts as well as the literature. The last player card in this unboxing video is a 1-cost attachment. It's a title. It can attach to any character, and it's neutral. It's called Elfriend. I name you Elfriend, and may the stars shine upon the end of your road, Gildor said in the Fellowship of the Ring. Elfriend was a name given to Frodo in the literature, and what this card does is the attached character gains the Noldor and Sylvan traits. So the character this attaches to gains the traits of both the elf races. So cards such as the Elven Spear could be attached to any character that has this title put on them. So the interesting thing about that is you can turn your Rock'em Sock'em Dwarves into characters that have the elf trait. It's not unique, so you can have more than one elf friend on the table. You could attach it to Gandalf and give Gandalf the elf traits, but it's a neat way to share traits. That looks like it's it. That's the last player card. We have 2 more adventure packs in the cycle, and the Land of Shadows should be arriving any day now. Those of you who got it at Gen Con, I'm jealous, and as always, game on.